Good evening, all my little fluffs. Mewtwo here with you tonight, and, well, so straight up. That's better. You'll be able to, have my air holes lined up before I start talking. Well, tonight's going to be a story time. But it's going to be a more recent story time, as recording this, the story effectively had just finished. So, I try not to talk about work, period, when I'm in video mode. But, headband's not right. I'll just talk about our work environment a little bit. It makes sense here. Autumn and I both work from home, and they're directly above where I do my recording. We have a computer setup up there, which consists of a work-provided laptop, which we plug 2 extra monitors into, and another computer that is not monitored by work. We have been using all-in-one computers for this for quite a number of years, just because the purpose is we want a web browser and a place to put Telegram up, and that way it's off the work network. No one thinks about it. Life is good. Not that our bosses directly complain about that sort of thing, but you don't want to have that sort of stuff showing up on the work network. So, personal email, Telegram, Twitter, all that stuff shows up on this computer. So, about 2 weeks ago, almost to the day, Autumn's computer ran a Windows update. And after that Windows update finished, computer stopped. Ruh-roh, Eggy. And the very next day, I spent the entire day with that computer next to me, moved over to a backup piece of equipment to use as his secondary browser. And it started up and went into a disk fix. So there's your first symptom of something definitely was wrong. So the disk fix started. Okay, and that kept going. And about 14 hours later, it finally finished. 14 hours. This is only a 500 gig physical 2.5-inch drive. That's not a good symptom. Over the next day or so, I kept trying all the options that it was giving me to try and recover Windows or reinstall Windows or whatever, and it would continuously, no matter what the option was, fail. This kind of sucked. We ended up deciding it was probably the hard drive. Now, problem number one, at this point, I don't even know physically what kind of hard drive we have. I know now what kind of hard drive was in there, but I didn't know then. I didn't even know how to open up these computers. They were Dell all-in-one computers from about 3 years ago when we bought them, and they probably weren't that year's model when we did get them, because, well, I didn't exactly buy high-end equipment for this. It was just to browse the internet. So, I looked up a video. YouTube is useful for things other than looking at fursuits, children. You could learn stuff on there, like how to open up a computer. So I found a video of someone taking apart a white version of these computers. We have black ones, so. But it was easy enough to see that it was the same hardware, just a different print. I learned first off there was a little pop panel underneath the kickstand part on the back. You pop that off. Okay. Flathead screwdriver, pop that off. Now there are 2 screws at the base of the kickstand itself, holding its base plate onto the back of the computer. I was like, first off, Only 2 screws holding this kickstand on? That does not seem very secure. But hey, you know, it seems to work. All right, unscrew those 2 screws, pull it off. All right, and then the rest of the entire back is held on with poppers. What? All right. Flathead screwdriver in there, pop, 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 pop. And about an hour or so later, maybe half an hour or so later, me, you know, fuddling around, making sure I popped all of the poppy points, and it actually rocks right off. Oh, good. So we got the case backing off. This is a 23.8-inch Dell Inspiron all-in-one computer. So it's a nice size object. Now, when I take off the cover, I see the hard drive over the one end. Let's go, okay. And this one does have a DVD drive, and I don't remember if it's a burner or not, but it's at least a DVD drive. It means these can be potentially a media device once they're retired from their current position. That's future me's problem. But I immediately see it is a 2.5-inch drive with a very proprietary to the motherboard cable. So let's hope that doesn't break. I was able to ascertain pretty quickly at this point, yes, 2.5-inch drive, physical media, you know, platters and stuff. And only 4 screws total holding it in. 1 holding the little tray in place and 3 holding it to the tray. Got that out, got the 1 plug out of the back, the Uniplug that had both the power and the SATA data in there. And we decided, yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll order a replacement hard drive. I had a few people telling me go with the solid state, but to be honest, for what these computers do, I don't think the solid state drive would have done us any kind of benefit. These were low-end AMD, like low-end processors on these ones. Nothing fancy. I felt the solid state drive would be slowed down behind the hardware. So, looking at the prices, a 500, which is what it had, was about 30, but a terabyte was 40. So, that's what the terabyte. I figured an extra 10 bucks. It's actually not going to hurt the bank, and it will improve the potentiality of this computer in the future. Not a big deal. So, got that ordered. While that's open and I'm waiting around, I did take a good look at the hardware. This is a 23.8-inch computer, diagonally. So it's a nice big tray. The hard drive is over here with the DVD / whatever drive. On the far other side was this tiny little circuit board panel, which had which is right underneath where the plugs were on the back of it. The power plug, the HDMI out, 2 USB. I forget what else is back there. That's pretty much it. That's all that's really important anyway. Might have been a headphone jack. So it's this tiny board with a soldered on processor. So it's like, yeah, this is a small low-end laptop motherboard literally inside of an all-in-one, which is mostly what I expected. I just didn't expect it to be that small. I figured at best they probably would have gone cheap and had something that was physically larger just because they had space to put it in, but nope. Tiny little mofo in there. The good news, though, is these only had 4 gigs of RAM, and I located that in the RAM slot. And I looked, popped it out, and I'm like, oh, there's another RAM slot under there. I verified what kind of RAM it was. It was DDR3 laptop memory. Not something totally ancient, but not brandy new, because, well, we're on DDR4, and we're probably getting close to DDR5 coming out, because, of course we are. Why wouldn't we be? You can't be used to a kind of RAM for 10 minutes before you can't buy your kind of RAM anymore. So, I'm like, okay, It's got a 4 in it, and it's got a spare slot. So I can at least make this up to 8, guaranteeing myself that much. Because it can handle 4 sticks. Sticks of 4, not 4 total sticks. I talked to a friend online and mentioned what I'm looking at. He says, make sure you check the maximum that those slots can handle before you buy. Those are very smart words. And yes, I looked it up. Apparently, these 2 slots can each take up to 8 gigabytes. So, I look it up and I price those. 1 stick of 8 was about 30. 2 sticks of 8 was 50 in a combo pack. So I, put a pin in that and thought about that. Waiting for the hard drive, because I want to fix problem A. I don't want to throw money into these computers if I'm going to be throwing it in the garbage. The hard drive did show up a few days later, fortunately. The installation was quite easy, physically. I mean, I'd already had the thing open and sitting on a table in a nice safe spot in the workroom upstairs. All I had to do was screw the 3 screws on the side, screw the tray screw in, jam that cable into place, and then popper the whole back on, put the kickstand on, 2 screws, popper that little other panel on, and then I'm like, all right, download Windows 10 onto a USB flash drive. These things already had a license on them anyway. They're ready to roll. They just need to be reinstalled. Put it in. It doesn't want to boot to that. In fact, it only has 2 boot options. Over the Ethernet with IPv4, over the Ethernet with IPv6. Nothing over the Ethernet is there to tell it what to do. This is a minor problem. Tried all the things I could easily think of in the BIOS to see if I could make it play nicely. No. So I look up the problem online. Apparently other people had this issue. Oh, you don't look in the BIOS. You look in the boot menu. Okay, F12, you get the boot menu. And you have to change it to classic boot. Okay. Oh, well, there's USB now. Mash on that bad boy. Goes up to the Windows setup right away. No problem. Start the installation. Choosing things, clicking things, bars going across. Then it goes do the first reboot. And it tries to boot off of Ethernet again. Okay, try F12. Okay. Boot off hard drive now because we're through the first part of the installation. And it does some stuff. Then it does another reboot and it does the same thing. Okay, this is annoying. Alright, go to the BIOS now. And now that I'm set to classic boot, I can switch the order of the boot things. Good enough. I take Ethernet and put it at the bottom and disable again, but I put hard drive on the top, USB, and DVD drive. Cool. Boots into Windows. Everything's fine. Smiles and cupcakes. Windows actually installed fine. Everything works great. Installed Firefox. Run only a few updates and actually caught itself up to where it's supposed to be. And fresh up and install alone, this computer is heckers a lot snappier than it used to be. Not like super fast, but way better than it was. So, at this point, I do decide, you know what? I'm going to invest a little bit. Now, there's 2 of these because we both have the same secondary computer. His just had the hard drive problem right now. Mine succeeded through that update and is doing just ducky on the 500 gig original hard drive. But we've both been complaining to ourselves how slow they were lately. And since I'd already figured out how to open up the cases and saw where the RAM slots were, I was like, I can't fix the video cards. I can't change the processor, but I can put more RAM in these things. And we both debated over, do I buy 1 pack of RAM and give us each 1, making us up to 12? Or do I buy 2, pay $100 total, and make us up to 16? Didn't take much debate. We settled on the buy 1 pack of RAM. $50, not too big a deal. Came in just Saturday morning, or was it Friday night? I can't remember which. I think it was Saturday morning. Came in the mail, and, well, I started with his because it was already out on the table still. He was still putting his fun stuff back on, moving his general files onto there. Fortunately, there wasn't anything critical on his hard drive. Again, it was just a browser, but we like to have some things, you know, favorites and stuff, and a little this and that to make our lives easier. So he still had his physically out of position. I was like, all right, still on that TV tray, flop it back down. I remember where the poppers are. Pop, pop, pull a little panel, screw, screw, 2 screws out. Pop, 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 pop. Kill all like 20-ish poppers around this thing. I'm not kidding. It's really like 20 little plastic pops around these perimeters. Flip open the big old cover. Pop out the 4 gig stick of RAM. Slide the 8 ball on the bottom. Put the 4 on the top. Pop, 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 pop ours back on. Screw, 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 screw. Pop, pop, other panel on. Plug the power, keyboard, mouse, Ethernet all back in. Hit the power button. She boots up smooth. Check. Yep, Windows acknowledges. 12 gigs of RAM. Happy slappy. So, everything is just 100% toasty there. Verified it was up. Verified it loved it. Great. Did the same to mine since, well, I got the other stick of RAM there. I just sat his on the floor for the moment. Used the TV tray over near my desk. Same system. This one I had one popper that was really kind of a butts. It did not want to come off. In fact, by the time I got it out, it looks like it did break on the inside. But, I mean, there's still like 19 other poppers holding this case together. You're never going to notice. Put my RAM stick in. Closed it back up. Screwed it back on. Put it right back in place where it goes on my desk. This bad boy booted up nice and snappy as usual. Checked. RAM was fine. 12 gigs acknowledged. We are actually good to go. Before the weekend was finished, he actually did, since he'd already got his stuff set up now on the newly installed drive, switched the computers out. Nicer one back into position, 23 inches as opposed to the, I think they're 19s was our old ones. Use that for the temporary there. And today when I started it up, being Monday, the day after, first work day after the install, wow. I didn't realize how much of a bottleneck I was running behind with that 4 gigs of RAM. I'd considered opening it up and finding the RAM before. The problem was I'd looked on the back and I couldn't find any screws. And I didn't want to just like try and rip this thing open with a hacksaw. I wanted to know I was doing it right. And I didn't have a good excuse why I was going to do that. Until now, when I had one that I basically had nothing to lose. It was not booting up. So after I'd figured it out, I'm like, well, now I know. And, whew, everything moves so much nicer. I thought a lot of it was internet-related stuff, like speed of yahoo.com or whatever. Telegram itself, speed. Wow, when there's enough RAM in there, Telegram worked fine. In fact, the only page that was at all butts was Yahoo. I've been using them since I started on the internet, so I'm not going to get rid of that email address. But seriously, that was a minor investment in the upgrade. Effectively $25 per computer to make them 3 times as fast RAM-wise, and it made a killer difference. You don't think about it too much, but 4 gigs is not that much anymore. And when you got Windows 10 already running on there at that 4 gigs, and it's shared, so the video RAM steals out of the regular RAM for this too. That's another part of why this is bad. 4 gigs, part of which is shared the video, you have almost nothing to work with. But once I had that in there, boom, browser worked great. File Explorer working good. That's pretty much all I do on there, so it's hit all the win buttons. Yeah, so that was the story. Minor computer repair and upgrade scenario, and comes up with a happy ending. He has a fresh installed Windows on his. We both have extra RAM. He has more hard drive space now. Not that we really did anything savings-wise on those. I mean, he was able to move everything he wanted to onto that computer with a 4 gig flash drive that wasn't even that full. Mostly documents and stuff. Things that just you like to have accessible. So, yeah. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed my story for the night. Thank you for sitting through my babbling. I know some was techno-babbling to a few of you, but I appreciate whoever all stuck with me. So, if you enjoyed, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. The little dingly bell. For said dingly bell will let you know I make new videos. Who knows, might be a new Mewtwo video. I've been recording a lot with him lately, so good chance. And my Patreon link is in the description box below, if you are so inclined. Not required. Viewing is more important to me than anything else, and please, definitely keep viewing and sharing with your friends. The more people that watch, the more people that will accidentally see it. And hopefully the more people will get to enjoy it. So, thank you all my lovely viewers, and I'll see you again on a future video. But for now, stay pink, fluffy, and Pokemon-y. And I'll be watching.